It's spring of 2024. I don't own a home. Home prices are steadily increasing and interest rates are still floating in the sevens. This is the hypothetical situation, and I'm about to take you through the steps that I would take to purchase a home by December 31st of this year. So the first thing that I would do if I'm looking to purchase a home in this market today is that I'm gonna go and talk to a loan officer. And no, I'm not just saying that because it's a field that I work in. A loan officer is going to be able to tell me how much it's going to cost for me to be able to make the monthly payments where I'm currently at right now in terms of what I can afford and what it's going to take in terms of me being able to get into a home, what the down payment, the closing costs are going to be, and what I can afford with my current monthly debt to income ratio. So after I get all of that information from the loan officer, I'm going to see what debts I can get paid off between now and December that would help me be able to qualify for a home. That's also something that that loan officer is going to be able to tell me. So I'm going to use all that information that he's given me, and I'm going to know what I need to pay off to help get me to the next step in the process. So after I know where I'm at and what I need to start working on, the next step that I'm going to take is I'm going to start scouring all of the down payment assistance programs and all of the grants that I qualify for to start seeing what's the best option for me to be able to take that can help with some of these expenses that I can't afford. Let's say I don't have the money for down payment or I don't have the money for closing costs. I'm going to see what money is out there that I can tap into to help me get into this home. So for example, I'm in Atlanta right now and learned about the Atlanta Housing Authority partnering with firefighters and EMTs to offer them up to a $30,000 grant to help Atlanta firefighters and EMTs be able to purchase a home. I'm going to look at that if that's in my profession. I'm going to look at what else do we have for teachers, because there are some down payment assistance programs for teachers that are out there. I'm going to see what other options are available that would allow me to be able to tap into that down payment assistance to help with the down payment assistance funds and also possibly the interest rate, because some of those down payment assistance programs come at lower interest rates as well. For example, the Georgia Dream dictates the interest rate for their down payment assistance, and their interest rates for the standard Georgia Dream down payment assistance and for the Veterans Assistance Loan Program that's gone through the Georgia Dream is a lot lower than what the normal interest rates are right now. And so those are some of the things that I'm going to look into as well. So again, first I'm going to talk to a loan officer, see where am I at right now? If I wanted to purchase a home today, what could I afford to be able to purchase? And what debts could I pay off to help improve my ability to be able to bump up to that next level of being able to afford something else? And then the second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to scour all of the down payment assistance programs that are out there. I'll scour the internet and find all of those down payment assistance programs that I qualify for that would help me be able to cover those down payment and closing costs, because with the increase in home prices, we also have an increase in down payment and closing costs as well. So those are the first two things that I'm going to do. The next step that I'm going to take is I'm going to start looking at the market. I'm going to start looking at where the homes are that I can afford. So there may be a part of town that I actually want to live in. However, the home prices in that area might not be within my budget, depending upon what my income and debt is. And so I might look at, okay, what homes are within my budget that are in areas that I'm fine living in? So maybe I have to go 10 minutes further out, 15 minutes further out, or to the opposite side of town to find those homes that are more within the price range that I can afford. After I find those homes that I can afford, even though it's not where I would rather be, I'm not going to wait until I can afford the home that I really want. And here's why. Home prices are steadily increasing at about 4% year over year, between 3 to 5% year over year for the next 5 years is what home prices are projected to continue to increase. And so knowing that, I know that the home that I want that I can't afford right now is going to be even more expensive in the future. I need something right now that's going to work for me to help me save up some money and build up some equity. And I can put that equity to work for me 3 to 5 years in the future that will allow me to get the home that I really want. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to purchase the home that I can afford in the area where I can afford it, so that after I get in that home will be appreciating for me at that 3 to 5% interest rate projected over the next 3 to 5 years. And so with that projection being the case over the next 5 years of the appreciation and everything, I will be growing my equity that I have in that home. So 3 years from now, 5 years from now, I'll be able to take that money and use it to be able to purchase the home that I really want to purchase. But again, I'm not going to wait until later to be able to purchase that home. I'm going to go ahead and act sooner. I'm going to go ahead and act now to get that home that I really want. So these are the steps that I would take, pretty much in that order, if I were looking to purchase a home today, with those being the circumstances. So one thing that I've learned is that the people who are looking for the solutions will find them. And the people who are waiting for the circumstances to be optimal before they make a move are typically going to be still waiting 3 to 5 years from now. Because when those circumstances are optimal for them, they're optimal for everybody, which means that the competition is even higher for these optimal circumstances. If you remember not too long ago in 2020 and 2021, when interest rates were really low and there were a lot of people that were trying to purchase homes, it was still really hard to get into a home because inventory was low, and everybody who was trying to get into the housing market at the same time was outbidding each other to get into those homes. So you may have found a home that you liked that was in your price range, but then there was another person coming along or another business coming along who could afford to pay $30,000, $50,000, $100,000 above asking price to get that home and secure it at the lower interest rate. And so now you're back on the hunt again, searching for another house, and you find that other house and it's the same thing again. You have some other people who see that same house and they're like, oh, I'll pay 20,000 more, 50,000 more, and maybe you can't go up that high. So now you're back searching again. There were so many people that went and put in 10, 12, 15 offers for a home just to lose after house after house after house because they kept getting outbid by another individual or by a business or a corporation. And so knowing that when the situation is optimal for me, it's also going to be optimal for so many other people, and now we're all going to be fighting over the same thing, I would make the best use of the current circumstances and situation with the housing prices and the housing market as it is right now. And I would utilize that to my advantage, meaning that I would find the home that I can actually get in now at the interest rates that to everybody else aren't pleasing, because I know that I can refinance later into a lower interest rate when the rates do drop. And that means I'm dropping my monthly payment later on. However, I've already secured the house and the equity in that house is still growing. And 3 years later, 5 years later, I've built up maybe 30,000, maybe 40,000, 50,000, depending upon the area and how quickly it appreciates in that home. I can sell that home and utilize some of that equity to be able to thereby purchase the next home up, or purchase a home that I really want to be in, or maybe in an area or part of town that I really would like to live in, by just staying put and renting until I can afford the place that is steadily getting away from me because it's constantly getting more and more expensive to live there. And maybe what you're making on your job is not keeping up with inflation, is not keeping up with the housing prices and everything. So it's just making it that harder for you to obtain it. But getting in where I could get in now is what I would do. And that's the way that I would go about doing it. So not a long podcast, but I did want to give you some information in terms of the steps that I would be taking right now if I do not own a home, but my goal is to purchase a home by December 31st of this year. These are the steps that I would take and the things that I would do to make sure that I could set myself up to make that happen. Might not be the home that I want in the area that I want it, but I would use the home that I'm able to get to my advantage to start building the equity so that a few years later, I would have the money to be able to put towards the home that I really want to live in. So I would be more or less playing a long game with that, with the 3 to 5 year outlook. So that's what I would do. Doesn't have to be your scenario, but again, want to leave you that option in terms of how I would take it as a mortgage and real estate professional. Thank you for taking the time to tune in. Do hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you in the next episode. Take care. Be blessed.